I'm gonna be honest here, I didn't really know if I wanted to make a video about this. I feel like it's kind of old. Dunking on the Vancouver Canucks endlessly for the numerous stories that happen to come about that paint this organization in a pretty bad light. But at the end of the day, awareness is key. And even though the Vancouver Canucks, as a franchise, have established themselves this reputation that doesn't really look all too great when you break everything down, I guess it's a test of our endurance to see how far they can go, right? Full disclosure, I'm recording this audio on Friday. It's the afternoon here. I'm pre-recording stuff because I'm going on a trip for the holidays. But the reason for the commentary today is because of a story that Ben Mrtka posted on abbynews.com. The Abbotsford Canucks players have still not received their Calder Cup rings, and no one seems to know when or if they will actually arrive. And before even diving into the piece or diving into any of the scoops that we have seen, just the optics of that statement in itself, that the Vancouver Canucks farm team, the Abbotsford guys, after their championship victory in June, are still waiting for their championship rings, when really that is absolutely not the standard. It puts the Vancouver Canucks in an even more facepalm-esque territory when thinking and talking about this team. The article goes out there and says that people involved with the AHL stated that a ring ceremony is often conducted on the championship team's home opener the next year. The Abbey Canucks home opener on October 24th saw banners go up, but no rings were distributed. Other teams have done a private ceremony, but sources within the Canucks stated that has not occurred. The News, Abbey News, reached out to Abbotsford Canucks management for information about potential championship rings on November 26th, with team management stating they would need to have an internal discussion before answering. On December 5th, they said a reply would be given in 1 week's time, but communication stopped after that last message. The Hershey Bears, who had won a Calder Cup championship in 23 and 24, showcased championship rings to the hockey world in October of each of those years. The team partnered with Bear in championship rings, and the 2024 rings featured 14 dazzling chocolate diamonds, representing the 14 playoff wins and the team's all-in playoff mantra. And so, it's quite interesting that the Vancouver Canucks-managed Abbotsford Canucks team does not have their championship rings as of yet. You can make your inferences as to what this means and how this actually reflects on the people in charge. But for a franchise like the Vancouver Canucks, who have been deemed so unserious in various accounts up to this point, it doesn't look any better. This team has not earned the benefit of the doubt on many things, if anything at all. So when you see, oh yeah, they haven't gotten it done, it's already December, the championship was back in June, it's like, oh, of course. Like, if there was any team that would mismanage the gosh darn championship rings, it would be the Vancouver Canucks management team, right? This was talked about by Donnie and Dolly on Friday as well, which is, I think, where the story started to get some big buzz initially. For what it's worth, the Moj went out there on Twitter, said this: I'm hearing that the Calder Cup championship rings for the Abbey Canucks have indeed been ordered, but apparently are late. ETA is January. So, do with that information what you will. Was it the Canucks themselves who ordered the championship rings late, or was it the company making them that is fumbling the bag here and putting all the negative press on Vancouver for the delays in the rings? Now, for what it's worth, the Vancouver Canucks AHL team did go out there and issue a statement shortly after all the drama was spilled out there onto the radio. Take a look at this. The Canucks have sent out the following statement about the Abbey Canucks Calder Cup championship rings. This was later in the afternoon. Winning the Calder Cup was a monumental achievement for the entire organization, and celebrating it with our players, staff, incredible fans, and the Abbotsford community has been truly special. From hosting a Calder Cup celebration in the summer to kicking off the season with banner-raising night, it's been important to us to honor an exceptional group and a historic championship that unites our community. Calder Cup championship rings are the final piece of that celebration. A tremendous amount of thought and care went into their design, as they represent a piece of history the players will carry with them for the rest of their lives. Extensive time and attention were dedicated to their creation to ensure this moment is celebrated in a way that truly reflects the significance of the achievement. We are excited to share them with the team in the new year and look forward to continuing to celebrate this remarkable moment in our history together. Now, is it a fine statement? Yeah. But is it also damage control? Yeah. As long as they're getting them, right? I guess. And I guess you could also bring up the idea that's like, Lego, why are we making such a big deal out of gosh darn championship rings? Like, it's one small thing in the grand scheme of Vancouver Canucks related hockey. And I would honestly tend to agree with that perspective. Like, yeah, like, they're gonna get the rings. They'll get them. It's fine. In 3 years, nobody's gonna care about this anymore. But it's one of these situations where it's like, with all the crap that has surrounded the Vancouver Canucks the past few years, it just adds on. It's another piece of the fire that looks bad when you really hyperanalyze it. This Vancouver Canucks organization has had multiple decisions and moments over the past few years that we could all look at and scoff at. And Thomas Drance went out there and had a bit about everything on Friday's edition of Canucks Talk on Sportsnet 650. Here's a tweet from Taj. Drance went off on the Vancouver Canucks and hashtag Ringgate. There's no rebuild. There's no championship rings, there's no plan, there's no investment, there's no practice facility. You add all of that, and what do you get? No chance of winning until this organization gets serious. Now, rebuild, championship rings, there's no plan. What exactly does that refer to? Well, it's referring to what Pierre LeBrun went out there and said on The Athletic earlier last week. This is what LeBrun wrote about in regards to a Kiefer Sherwood trade. The Canucks haven't given teams a specific asking price on Kiefer Sherwood, but are open to different scenarios depending on the team. It could be a younger player that makes sense, or a high pick, or a prospect. The Canucks will be flexible depending on what interests them from team to team. The goal is to keep getting younger assets now in the post-Quinn Hughes world for Vancouver, but I would stop short of calling it a full rebuild. It's more of a hybrid build, as someone put it to me this week. They want to get more younger pieces, but turn it around quickly enough. Now, actions speak louder than words, so at some point, we are going to have to evaluate, do the Vancouver Canucks make the decisions that align with a rebuild identity? Do they find a way to trade away Evander Kane? Do they trade Demko? Do they trade Garland? Do they trade Pedersen even? But right now, looking at this assessment, just from the info that Pierre LeBrun is hearing, Vancouver Canucks want to do a hybrid rebuild. They want to do a hybrid build, They want to take young pieces and turn it around quick. Oh boy. It's the no rebuild, if you wanted to say that. The Vancouver Canucks still trying to be competitive and remain in that spot where they can maybe challenge for a playoff spot. Ooh, anything can happen if you get in, right? So, as long as we have a competitive team that has a chance, we gotta do all we can to get in there. Is that not the right way to go about things? This Vancouver Canucks squad. They never learn. At least, that's what it looks like. Again, actions speak louder than words. We will see if the Vancouver Canucks actually do start to make trades and acquire players that are a little bit on the older side of their youth movement idea. Players more in the 25 range rather than 21 or 20 flat. If they really start prioritizing guys in that middle age range, then it will literally be just the same Vancouver Canucks idiosyncrasies repeating themselves. Again, after 10 years of this being what they were, wasting the prime years of Quinn Hughes and wasting a 100-point player in Elias Pettersson, wasting JT Miller. I mean, they were a lot better back then. I'll say that, but If the Vancouver Canucks are okay with mediocrity and they don't want to accept the idea of a full rebuild, then I guess we're kind of crap out of luck at this point, right? Oh well, we'll see what happens. For now, though, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the confusing state of the Vancouver Canucks rebuild, the rings not being delivered, Thomas Drance popping off on the team, no rebuild, no plan, no rings, no whatever. How do you feel about the Vancouver Canucks heading into the holiday break? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.